This is the Bon Voyage Hot List podcast. I'm Michael Graham, your host, and my wife Kelly, my boss and co-host, uh, beside us. And I just want to say that we're going to be talking today about exploring the Amazon, the heart of the Amazon, actually, by luxury river cruise. And just real quickly, I want to say hi and welcome to Carson Muir from Sanctuary, Laura Van Cans from Sanctuary, and Ashley Zaldivar from A&K. Hi, everybody. How are you doing today?
Excellent. Thank you so much for having us, Michael and Kelly.
Thanks, Mike.
Yes.
Really happy to be here.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yes, very excited, very excited. Great opportunity. We really appreciate y'all.
I was gonna say, if you are gonna cruise the Amazon, I don't think there's a better place to do it than a luxury ship, personally.
I would agree. Terribly biased, of course, but would
Yes.
definitely agree.
And I wrote a book on river cruising and lived in Brazil, and the one river never have we done is the Amazon. So this is really cool to kind of delve into and dive in.
The time has come.
So, if you guys could start, maybe Ashley, you start and you guys tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and your companies. Let us know.
Certainly. Yeah, happy to kick things off. My name is Ashley Zaldivar once again, and my role is sales director for Abercrombie and Kent. So I manage a particular territory, and any travel agencies within that territory are under my purview. If they are luxury and kind and polite, those are the only advisors I work with for those travel agencies. And it just so happens that Michael and Kelly Graham fit the bill. So if they had any need for any product beneath the Abercrombie and Kent umbrella, they would reach out to me first and we would chat through a little bit about their clients. I hear you guys are also very polite and kind as well. Maybe a few Grinches amongst you. It is near Christmas, so we'll have to see if we can sort you out there. But we would look at the need and where you're looking to travel to, and we would go from there. And in this particular instance, we are looking at the Amazon, and we have a brand new product coming out. So it might be a good segue to talk a little bit about one of the product lines beneath the Abercrombie and Kent Travel Group umbrella, which is Sanctuary. Laura, do you wanna pick up the ball with my little segue there?
I don't know if I can make it as fun and Christmassy, but I can share that my name's Laura Van Sands. I'm your senior sales director for Sanctuary. And Sanctuary is an amazing collection of safari lodges, camps in Africa, riverboats, one of which is coming soon to the Peruvian Amazon, and we're going to focus on today. So we're really delighted to be here working with Michael and Kelly. And I've also got my colleague Carson here. So Carson, do you want to introduce yourself as well?
Absolutely. My name is Carson Muir, and I'm on the wonderful A&K Sanctuary team, working closely with Laura and Ashley and the team across Abercrombie and Kent to bring some amazing destinations to life for clients in the MGA Travel Group. Is certainly one of those great partners that helps provide their clients with access to this amazing part of the world. And we're very excited to be bringing all of our expertise from Africa across the globe to Peru and launch Pure Amazon next year. And of course, look forward to welcoming people on board in the future.
And this really is one of the first times we are sharing this information with our partners. So we're excited to sort of get it out there and want you guys to know that you're a special audience because a lot of this is very new and very exciting still for us.
Thank you, guys.
Exciting for Michael and I too, when we heard
It's
about
very
it.
exciting. It's very exciting. Just real quick bit of housekeeping. I want to thank all of our attendees that are on right now. If you are on live, and of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Please like and subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, just leave a comment if you have a question or concern, or you can send it to Michael at mgatravel.com or Kelly at mgatravel.com. And if you're on with us right now, please drop it in the Q&A or the chat And Kelly and I'll be watching that. And if there's a question that we can relay while we're on the air to our, our panelists, then we'll be glad to do that. And let's talk about 1 second, what is the Bon Voyage Hot List? And I can show you real quick. It is a collection of our hottest tours and cruises that we have coming up. So just for example, if you were to go to your web browser and just type MGA Travel, and then you could go to the menu and pick the hot list, you would see this list of upcoming trips, and it just in chronological order and gives a very brief description, who's hosting it, hosted by M&K, that's Michael and Kelly. And then you could literally click on Step Inside the Journey from there, and you would get all the details, pricing, itinerary, and everything else. It does not mention the show for people that are viewing this webinar and broadcast live or recorded, and we'll fill you in on those details. You just have to do it before it sells out or before the time runs out, and we'll fill you in with all those details in a minute. So I would like to start by handing it back to Ashley. And if you can kind of tell us, A&K has built in a little bit of logistics to wrap around this cruise just to make life easier on everybody, and talk about how that works. And you and I can both talk about it if there's any details you need. And then you pass it around, you guys tell us about Sanctuary and this new river cruise, please.
Of course,
However is
happy
best for
to
you.
say it again, Kelly.
However is best for the three of you.
Yeah, no, that's completely fine. I think the way that Michael outlined it was very smart. Abercrombie and Kent, we are one of the world's best, if not the world's best, luxury land operator. And not only do we offer tour products, but we also have on-the-ground teams in destination that assist with any sort of excursion need, transfer need, accommodation, sightseeing, anything that you could imagine that you would need while you're on a vacation. That is where our local on-the-ground team comes in. So for this particular voyage, we're going to have Abercrombie and Kent managing those airport pickups. So with Abercrombie and Kent, you'll always have an English-speaking individual at the airport for a VIP meet and greet, as we like to call it. This person we refer to colloquially as a guardian angel, and they'll be there to meet you at the airport, bring you to your driver. We offer luggage handling assistance, so you shouldn't really be touching those bags or lugging everything around on your own. That's via our traveling bellboy service. And we'll have all of those elements privatized for you. Once we reach the vessel itself, the Pure Amazon riverboat, then the element of the program that is managed on the water will be handed off to the Pure Amazon team, the folks over there at Sanctuary. However, at the end of the voyage, again, our ground operations team will come in and scoop you up from the disembarkation point, and again, provide that private vehicle transfer back to the airport. I believe on the back end, we have a day room that we're looking at getting scheduled for you folks so that you'll have somewhere comfortable to rest, because it will be quite a few hours prior to the departure flight. So all of these little bits and pieces, Michael and Kelly are working directly with folks on the ground that have the access, the knowledge, the know-how, and will be in destination coordinating all of those aspects of the trip. And then, of course, if there are some folks that want to stay on in the destination or perhaps move on to Peru or another neighboring country, it's that same ground operations team that would take you off to your next destination and ensure that you met the next ground operations team safely and soundly. Abercrombie and Kent Latin America has offices in Peru. We have offices in Ecuador, Chile, Argentina, Colombia. So we're all over the place. And I do believe that that is why Michael and Kelly have chosen to partner with us for this particular voyage. But that being said, we're looking at the voyage. So I think it might be smart for me to pass it back on over to the sanctuary team and have them pick it up so we can maybe get a look at the ship, perhaps.
Absolutely. And I think that's such a great way to kind of connect the dots as well. I mentioned at the end of my introduction that this is a new venture for us into South America and into the Peruvian Amazon. But through our partnership with Abercrombie and Kent and being under the same umbrella, we're leaning into all the resources that A&K Peru already have, being a local office working and operating there for over 25 years. So while the product and the hardware is new to the region, we are not new to the region and are able to really utilize all of our guides and all the amenities that it's going to be involved in a trip like this to really make sure that when we hit the water next year, we're offering a very luxurious experience for all of our guests that are coming down to experience Pure Amazon. So I thought it'd be great to kind of start with where you're going, where you would be in the country of Peru. And then, of course, it will kind of give you an idea of some of those extensions that could potentially be added on to a trip like this that was mentioned by Ashley. And so looking at the map here, we have the country of Peru. So the main entry point into Peru is Lima. There's great connectivity to Lima through some major hubs across the United States. So regardless of where you're traveling from, we would recommend you get to one of these hub cities and take the direct flight into Lima. As mentioned, we've got a hotel set up for you and all of the wraparound airport meet and greet and services to get you, once you arrive in Lima, to your hotel for the evening. You'll be able to rest and relax at the hotel as everyone else arrives from their different entry points. And then that next day, in the afternoon, you will all fly together to Iquitos. And it's about an hour and 50 minutes to 2 hours flying from Lima to Iquitos. So you can see it in the purple circle there on your screen, the area of Peru that you're going to be traveling to. And once you arrive into Iquitos, you will actually be boarding a road transfer to get to an area called Nauta. And Nauta is where our boat will be stationed. And you will be able to then from there access the Peruvian Amazon, and in particular, the Pacaya Samiria National Reserve is the area that we will be exploring on board the boat. So you can see here a first glimpse of Pure Amazon, but let's first just kind of go into a little bit more detail about this specific destination, the movements of the boat in this area, and how you will get to kind of explore the entire reserve in those 7 nights on board Pure Amazon. So I mentioned Iquitos there at the top of the screen. That is your entry point for your flight. And then you'll do the 1.5 hour road transfer from Iquitos down to Nauta. Nauta is where the boat is stationed. It's not docked in Nauta, so it's important to know that you will be boarding the ship via our skiffs. So skiffs are going to be hard-sided boats that fit 10 passengers, and those will be taking you from the dock to the ship in a very smooth and organized way. But you do need to be, comfortable getting on and off a skiff boat to get onto this wonderful floating 5-star hotel that we're about to show you. And so once you're on board Pure Amazon, you're going to be moving around the Pacaya Samiria Natural Reserve, which is Peru's largest protected area at 21,000 square kilometers. It's about the size of Vermont in comparison. And it's just beaming with exceptional beauty, flora, fauna, and biodiversity. And so once you are on board, we will be taking you down along the first 4 nights, if you can kind of visualize, are going to be spent on the Rio Ucayali, which is kind of this lower region of the Pacaya Samiria National Reserve.
Carson, can you say that 3 times fast? I think we'd all enjoy that.
I've been practicing my pronunciation quite a bit on that. So still working through it as I get more familiar. But yeah, first 4 nights on the Rio Ucayali. And then after you've seen kind of all the exciting aspects of that region of the Pacaya Samiria National Reserve, you'll kind of make your way back towards Nauta. And then those final 3 nights will be spent on the Rio Maharon, which will take you into other regions of the Natural Reserve. And so the great thing with the timing of the trip that Michael and Kelly have put together is it's going to be high water season. So during high water season, you have more tributaries that you can kind of go into on the skiff boats and really get deeper into the reserve to see all the amazing wildlife and unique aspects of this area that is feeding into the Amazon River. So one thing to note is that we are not sailing on the Amazon River when you're in the Pacaya-Samiria National Reserve, but this is actually what feeds into and creates the Amazon River. So perfect. With that kind of idea and visualization of where we're going to be taking you on Pure Amazon, I'd love to hand it over to Lara to talk a little bit about the beautiful boat and all of the details and where you will be staying while on board.
Okay, well, I love the context. Thank you so much, Carson. Always good to know where we're going, especially when we're headed to somewhere that is quite remote and quite far away from where most of us are normally. But welcome to Pure Amazon. This is our beautiful new river boat. You'll see here that this is a smaller vessel. This is a very intimate, exclusive experience. There is a maximum of 22 passengers at any one time. So again, it's a very small group experience. We have 3 skiffs that Carson mentioned that will be taking you out on your excursions. Each skiff has 10 seats, 2 of which are taken by a guide and a driver. But then there'll only be 8 passengers actually on your excursion. So when I talk about kind of intimacy and exclusivity, you know, that's a really good guide to guest ratio there. But I'm jumping ahead. Sorry, I'm supposed to be talking about the boat itself. Forgive me. Okay, so you'll notice in the design of the boat in the slide before and on this one as well that we've paid particular attention to ensuring that we reflect our natural environment. The goal with the exterior and the interior of the boat is 1, that we don't upstage the real reason you're there, which is the beauty of the outdoors, and 2, that we complement it. So you'll see a lot of natural tones. Everything is going to be sort of a natural organic shade, all inspired by the Amazon. You'll see local art wherever possible, locally sourced materials, wherever that makes environmental sense. So things like organic Peruvian cotton throughout the boat, in your rooms, for your sheets, little touches like that throughout. When you wake up with us, we want you to know where you are. So this is the first deck that we're looking at here. This is the deck where you'll board or embark and disembark on your daily excursions. I'm going to draw your attention to one of my favorite pictures, which may not be the most aesthetic of the 5 in front of us, but 6, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The picture on the bottom right there, those are lockers. And if any of you have traveled to a region like the Amazon before, you may already be thinking why those lockers are important. Those are outdoor lockers, and they are stationed in what we can sort of call a mudroom at this stage that you will go through to get in and out of the boat. When you are in the Amazon, it's very common that if you leave your room and you take anything with a lens, you will spend the first 20 minutes outside your room wiping your lens because of the immediate condensation. So one fun aspect of Pure Amazon is that we will have these outdoor lockers that are acclimatized, or that will allow your gear to acclimatize. So when you come in off your skiff, you can stow your gear securely so that the next time when you get on the skiff for your next excursion, the guide doesn't point out, you know, an incredible sighting within the first 5 minutes and you miss it because you're still having to defog. Everything will be defogged because it'll be kept outside. The other photos here are just showcasing our lounge area and our beautiful restaurant. We will have a partnership that we'll announce soon with a very well-known chef from Peru. So more details coming on that soon, but the culinary aspect is a really big part of your experience here. So that's just a little bit on deck 1. As we move upstairs, we have 10 suites on board. These suites sleep up to 10 people, 20 people, 20 passengers. We do have, and I didn't note this, forgive me, on deck 1, 2 dedicated single cabins as well. So we've got the dedicated single cabins, which are a little smaller on deck 1, and then on deck 2, we have identical 10 suites, 5 down each side of a hallway. We do have 2 sets of interconnecting suites if that's relevant for anybody that's traveling. And we do have an option for some triple accommodation if children are on board. But that's something that I think Michael and Kelly can probably speak to if that's, I'm getting a bit of a shake of the head. Might not be as relevant in this context. but an option if anybody needs it. You'll see panoramic windows in all of the rooms. We want the outside to flood in. We really want you to know where you are, as I said before. So just a little bit of an overview here of those suites. We've got the 10 doubles I mentioned, the 2 solo, a little bit of an overview of those customizable cabins, and then of course every luxury that you'd expect in those rooms. So curated pillow gifts every night, of course lovely amenities in the showers, in the bathroom, everything to provide sort of the highest level luxury experience that we can on the river. Okay, so then finally, on deck 3, we've got our sun deck lounge, we've got our gym, we've got our spa. We also have a really important feature, which is our explorers lounge, and that's the image on the top left. And this is something I think that sets us apart a little bit on the river. We really want to be your destination expert. That's always who we've been in Peru. We bring a lot of years of experience, as both Carson and Ashley sort of hinted before, but we want to bring that to you on the river as well. So if you're the type of traveler that really kind of more enjoys to do a little animal spotting from the sun deck, then spend some time in the spa, get in your workout, that's wonderful. But if you're the guy that's up at 4 a.m. asking the guide to take you on an early morning birding excursion, we can be there for you too. So no matter your style of travel, we are the experts for those that want to dive deep, and that Explorers Lounge in the top left-hand corner will be outfitted with serious reference text, not just pretty sort of, coffee table books, but our guides will sit there, debrief, they'll do an impromptu lecture on the particular brand of bird that you spotted this morning, if that's what you want. And our excursions every day will be a little bit customizable as well. So if you are that person that really wants to do exploration light, spa heavy, you can go out for the morning on a slightly shorter excursion in Skiff 1, for example. But if you're that guy that's up at 4 a.m. wanting to do the additional birding cruise, you might go on Skiff 3, which is going to do a 2-hour excursion of the point we're all visiting that morning. So there'll be an element of flexibility and customization as well. Okay, so another little review. We've got these wellness facilities that I spoke about. We do have a jacuzzi up on the sun deck as well, which will be really lovely. Nice place to take in the river as you sail. The restaurant, as I mentioned, we will be announcing our partnership with a very famous chef shortly. So culinary is a big focus. I promise you will dine very well while on board. And of course, we take into account all dietary restrictions. You would just let Kelly and Michael know ahead of time, and they would organize that with our team. We talked about the outdoor lockers, and then just a few other things that you would probably expect on such a high-end cruise, but we will have a curated boutique with locally sourced, locally made gifts for you to take home to those who weren't so fortunate to join you. And of course, a given, we will have complimentary Wi-Fi on board.
Wonderful. Well, as Laura mentioned, there is a amazing element of customization on board Pure Amazon, but I thought it would be helpful to kind of help take you through a typical day while on board Pure Amazon. And this is where we really leaned into our safari experience. So on a safari, you're typically heading out on 2 game drives a day. And so we've applied that to our Pure Amazon product with 2 skiff excursions per day. And as Laura mentioned, some skiff excursions may be longer than others. Some may involve getting off the skiff and going on a jungle walk or visiting a local village. And we'll kind of talk through some of those different activities that are included throughout that 7 nights that you're on board. But a typical day on Pure Amazon will, of course, begin at dawn, when you will be woken up with a cup of coffee or your favorite tea delivered to your room to get the day going before you kind of head out on a full day at adventure in the area of the Peruvian Amazon that we're exploring that day. And then, of course, when you come back from that morning excursion and you're on board enjoying lunch, the boat's able to move into a new area of the river for that afternoon exploration. So you're going to be seeing different aspects each time you get on and off the boat. But here you can kind of just see some of the beautiful sights we're anticipating in the morning on the river. And of course, as I mentioned, these twice daily skiff excursions, you can kind of get a better visual of the skiffs that I was describing there, with the hard bottoms and very comfortable seating for 10 guests. And I guess, as Laura mentioned, a driver and then a dedicated guide on each of the skiffs. So a really great guide to guest ratio to be able to answer all those questions. And something that we want to make sure that you are aware of is that in those lockers that are stationed by the skiff mudroom area is complimentary set of binoculars. So those will be for all the guests to take with them as they head out on their excursions along with their camera equipment. And our guides are really going to be the ones able to spot some of the amazing, unique wildlife in this region. So as you're out on your skiff excursion, you'll be instructed to look up at the trees, and you will see some amazing wildlife in the trees. And our guides will be pointing out the different wildlife you might see and kind of giving you clues on where to look inside the tree to spot some of this unique wildlife. So just a kind of idea of some of the things that you might see when you're looking up into the trees is, of course, a three-toed sloth. We have a scarlet macaw. We've got the night monkeys, the squirrel monkeys, a greater bulldog bat. So using those binoculars will get you the best visuals of this amazing wildlife up into the trees, and of course allow you to capture photos of the wildlife with your camera equipment while you're out on the boat. And then as you continue along on your excursion, you'll be looking in the water, and you'll be looking for other wildlife that lives primarily in the water. And you may be able to spot, some of the amazing flora and fauna, like a giant water lily. Or looking in the water, you might find a capybara or a yellow-spotted river turtle. And of course, one of the most famous mammals in this region is the pink dolphin. Also giant river otters. So keeping your eyes peeled at all times will allow you to capture the most wildlife possible and get you an opportunity to get up close and personal with this amazing part of the world. And when we are not on skiffs looking in the trees or in the water, we're going to be taking you on land, on jungle walks to see some of the smaller critters, some of the insects and reptiles that are unique to this region. We have beautiful butterflies. We have the red-backed poisonous frog. We've got green iguanas in this area. We've got caiman lizards. So these are just some of the amazing wildlife in this region. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of an idea of some of the things that you could see while on board Pure Amazon. But other activities that will take place on some of your excursions throughout your cruise is a visit to one of the small villages of Ribereños, which we call our local river dwellers, to engage with the local community and learn about their traditions and really gain insights into the way of life in this part of the world. You'll get to witness skilled artisans at work, enjoy warm conversations with the locals, and really get an opportunity to hear their stories of growing up in this part of the world. So other activities, we've got kayaks, so we'll be doing kayaking. We'll also take you out and do some catch and release fishing. This is where piranhas live, so we will be catch and release fishing of piranhas, which will be a highlight for many. And then, of course,
I don't have to take it off the hook, do I?
You do not. That's what the guide is there for.
All right.
But you will get a picture next to it once you
Great.
catch it. And then once you're back on board, other activities on board, cooking classes. So we talked about, a big announcement coming with our chef and our restaurant partner, and they're going to be sharing their ingredients from the local area and teaching you some of the local dishes. So you'll walk away with some really amazing recipes to come home and share with all your family and friends after your time on board Pure Amazon. And then your typical day will end back on board in time for a sundowner, again, bringing our African heritage to the Peruvian Amazon and enjoying a wonderful beverage as the sun sets on another amazing day in the Peruvian Amazon with sites like this one. And then, of course, there'll be time when you're back on board for massages, for a quick workout in the gym, or maybe just an opportunity to rest and relax in the jacuzzi. As Laura mentioned, there'll be no shortage of great food and beverages to enjoy in between all of these activities on and off the boat. So just some of the local dishes that you would get to sample while on board featured here. And as mentioned, having an opportunity to engage with the chefs and engage with the staff and learn about how they prepare these dishes will be another part of the kind of enrichment experience on board Pure Amazon.
Well, if I can take a second, let me jump in on the culinary scene, because Peru has had an up and coming culinary scene for probably the last 15 years or so. And every year they do the top restaurants in the world, and the number of restaurants that are coming out of Peru increases every single year. It's really amazing. And Peru is also home to hundreds of varieties of potatoes and different kinds of quinoa. So just my little food for thought there.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I think too, just making sure that, we will have not only local Peruvian dishes available, but, a lot of other international dishes on board for breakfast and lunch. So making sure that we have items on the menu for everyone that they are in the mood for or comfortable eating. And of course, vegetarian dishes. We will have a children's menu for anyone who's looking for a little bit more of a simpler item at one of the meals. So our team is going to be well versed in kind of accommodating the American and Canadian travelers that are coming down to visit us in Peru. But of course, a typical night would conclude with an amazing stargazing experience. So stargazing is a big part of the experience being on the Peruvian Amazon with no light pollution. You get opportunities to see our beautiful solar system from the comfort of pure Amazon, and our expert guides will be there to teach you about all the amazing astronomy in this part of the world. And we hope you will join us and join Michael and Kelly as they lead this amazing trip in early 2026. So I'll hand it back over to them to give you a little bit more details specifically about their trip, but please type any questions into the question box that we can answer while we're here with you today.
Yeah, please do. And thank you guys. Thank you, Ashley, Laura, and Carson very much for that overview. I already had one question over here. Could you touch upon what's included of all those things you mentioned? Are there those for extra fee, or what's included, what's not?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that one. Everything that we mentioned today on our call is included in your experience on board Pure Amazon. The only thing that would be for purchase is kind of a select menu of higher end wines and liquors, but premium liquors and wine with dinner and lunch and all of that is included. And all of the activities we talked about are absolutely included. And again, it's kind of really customizing it to your own personal travel style. And the beauty of being on board Michael and Kelly's charter is that you guys have the ability to really, customize the trip even further to make sure that all the guests on board are getting the most out of their experience there. And so some will spend every moment possible out on the skiffs and in the depths of the Peruvian Amazon, and others will really enjoy the facilities on board and find that's their most comfortable space during this trip. But everything we talked about today is absolutely included in this package price for this trip that Michael and Kelly have put together.
All right. Thank you, Carson. So we had a couple more. Ed asked, what's the price of the trip? The price of the trip is $13,499 a person. That's before the special offer we're going to offer the viewers of this this podcast. And it also includes not only the all-inclusive river cruise, but it includes your airfare from Lima to Iquitos and back. And it includes that hotel on the front end. Coming back, we made that day room optional because I don't want to charge you for something if you don't need it. Your flight might line right up and you can go straight home. But if you do need it, we'll help you make that arrangement. I think you'll find us an excellent value for this level of experience. That's incredible.
I will add, and Kelly, thank you for the question, that there would be an additional cost for the spa services on board Pure Amazon. So thanks for catching that clarification. And then one thing I forgot to mention, just to add to what's included in what Michael just mentioned, is that when you do disembark Pure Amazon and you're heading back to Iquitos before you board your flight in Iquitos to go back to Lima, you actually do get to go and explore the Belen market in Iquitos and go to a cafe and have lunch. So there is an opportunity to see Iquitos on the return from Pure Amazon before you jump on a flight and head back to Lima.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So Bill and Sue asked, do we need to worry about dengue fever or other diseases? I can sort of answer that from living in Brazil for 10 years that, yeah, you have to be concerned about dengue fever. from mosquitoes, but the best way to prevent that is good mosquito protection. It'll be high water season. There will be, some mosquitoes. I imagine the ship I don't know if you provide mosquito netting or spray or what. We'll let you know what you need to bring to protect yourself about that. In 10 years of living in Brazil, I never caught it.
Knock
Good,
wood, knock wood.
knock wood. Adding to that, Lou asked, what type of immunizations would be recommended for this trip? I am not a doctor. I can't answer that. Again, I lived in South America and worked all around South America. And there's a thing called Passport Health that you can go to. There's one here in Myrtle Beach. There's one in Charleston. They're nationwide, and they will review where you're going, and they will make recommendations for what be above and beyond even what you probably have to have as required, and based on their medical recommendations. Um, However, that being said, I never had to have any special one. Like when I go to East Africa or India, I definitely have to have special immunizations. But South America, is pretty modern for the most part. We will be going to a more remote indigenous area, but I don't expect anything different. But ask Passport Health or your doctor, or MUSC has a travel health thing. David asked, does this include all gratuities throughout the trip? Carson or Laura?
I was deferring to you just to see what, if anything has been built in. But in terms of our pricing, it does not include gratuities.
Okay. So gratuities are not included. Is there a suggested gratuity?
Yeah, we can absolutely kind of send that over to you, Michael and Kelly, and you can have a look and see what you think, and then you can make your best recommendation.
Okay. Let's see. So how many nights on board? I believe it's 7 nights on board. Is that right?
It is.
7 nights on board, 1 night on the Pre in Lima. And also I should mention the one trip, some people are already booked onto this charter, I should say, and we're maxed out at 22 people. So think about that. But some of those people have already asked, while we're in Peru, can we go to Machu Picchu? And the answer is absolutely. We are working on that with Ashley and her team right now. So keep that in mind, because I believe that would be like the 17th of January, 2026. And we would have like a 4 or 5 night program. And if you haven't been to Sacred Valley and Machu Picchu and that part, it's amazing. It's incredible. The technology of the Incas is off the charts. And by the way, stargazing in the southern hemisphere is totally different. You see the Southern Cross, and I can't wait, to see it in the Amazon, in the heart of the Amazon, where there is absolutely no light pollution. That's a great point that you brought out, Carson.
And I just wanted to make a comment that when traveling to Machu Picchu with Abercrombie and Kent, you don't have to worry that we're going to force you to trek up the mountain and camp in a tent on the side of the mountain. We do offer the train service. There's multiple train options. And once our team on the ground and myself and Michael and Kelly have reviewed all the options, we will have a separate price point for that. So details to come, but we're already putting that together for y'all.
100%. And just so everybody, the people that are on that know me, Kelly and I went with A&K on the first time we went to Antarctica about 12 years ago. We actually went with Jeff Kent, who was the president of the CEO at the time. And it's an amazing company. They think of everything, and you've never been in any better hands with any company, I assure you. And Sanctuary Retreat also has their own wonderful reputation, especially with safari, boutique safari locations and retreats through Africa and all around the world. So I am very comfortable and happy to be working with this group of people in these companies, let me say.
We feel the same way. Thank you.
All right, we do have a couple more questions for you guys. Roger asked, you implied that one needs a degree of agility to board a skiff. Could you elaborate, please?
Yeah, I can jump in here. And I think, Michael, you just mentioned going down to Antarctica with A&K, and in Antarctica, you use Oh no,
Oreo.
I'm drawing
Zodiacs.
Zodiacs. Yeah, so Zodiacs are rubber-sided small boats to kind of get off of the larger ship and go and see the icebergs up close and make landings and see the penguins and all of that. And so I'm sure Michael and Kelly and from my own personal experience going down to Antarctica, you know, the staff is there on either side of you to help you on and off these small boats. So we have, you know, steps that we place inside the boat. So it's, you know, stepping, you know, it's the same as kind of going up a small set of stairs or down a small set of stairs when you're getting in and out of these boats. So if you're comfortable with that and you'd have a guide and staff on either side holding your arms, getting you in and out of the boats, you should feel more than comfortable kind of getting on our skiffs and getting onto pure Amazon. I think, you know, when I saw people in Antarctica getting on off the boats, I think they were pleasantly surprised with how easy it was to get on and off those boats. And I'm sure Michael and Kelly would agree from their experience. But
Yeah, absolutely. It just takes a little practice, but you get a lot of help from the staff, the crew, your neighbors. Sometimes if you're going on our private charter, of course, you know, you'll be with us. We're there to help too. But if you feel like you just really can't get around, it might not be the trip for you. We could help you evaluate that,
yeah.
you know, on a case by case basis for sure.
The great thing about skiffs too is it's actually you know, seats inside the boat that you'll be sitting in, very comfortable, and not like a Zodiac where you actually sit on this kind of edges of the boat while inside the smaller boat. So they're very comfortable, and we're looking forward to showcasing those as a part of the experience on and off Pure Amazon.
I have a couple questions more, but before I get to it, I do want to say that while we want you to join us on our departure and we think there's going to be some special things, and by the way, if you don't know, this would be an Outlander Society trip, going back to what Ashley said, sort of about polite travelers and guests and things like that. We do have 2 rules that we would expect you to follow to go with us. And that is number 1, no grumpy travelers. And number 2, no discussion of divisive politics while we are on holiday. And that usually makes for a great trip. It's pretty easy to follow. But if you don't think you could follow those, then guess what? You don't have to go on this for that or any other reason. We have plenty of other departures that Sanctuary and A&K are going to have throughout the year of 2026 and beyond. And we have a great team of advisors here at MGA Travel that we would love to, you know, put you on, you know, individually or as a couple on a regular departure. Absolutely, no problem. But as far as going on this private departure, that's what we're talking about really today. And we would love to invite everybody on the call and everybody that's watching to join us. Let me take these other 2 questions. Is the price you mentioned, Roger, as the same for solo travelers? So I don't know the pricing on the regular departures, but on our charter, there were the 2 solo cabins that were mentioned. There is no supplement, so it's the same per price. However, both of those are already filled. So the only way, if you took a double cabin as a solo traveler, you would have to pay for 2. However, do they split into 2 bids in any of the 10 units? So we
They
could
do.
help. You could, if you didn't already have a travel companion, we could help put you in touch with some same-sex travelers that you could see would be interested, and then you would be paying the same as everyone else. I don't know if you want to address that on normal departures that aren't, or we can cover that at another time.
Yeah, normal departures, exactly the way you said it, Michael. We have designed those dedicated solo cabins so that people, you know, it's the same per person price throughout, regardless of where you stay. So if you're in a solo cabin, you pay the per person rate. And then of course, for a suite, they're designed to be filled by 2 people. So it is 2 per person rate. So that would be the same, regardless of each departure.
Well,
Thank you.
kudos to y'all for doing that because we have a large contingency of single travelers, and it's really, really lovely that you're offering that.
Those 2 solo cabins were the first ones to go, really. I mean, and it doesn't surprise me at all. Roger asked if I could provide a link to the detailed info. Yes, I have dropped that into the webinar chat. And also you can go to the Trips With Me link you see on the bottom right of the screen over here, or MGA Travel, and get all those details. Are there plans in the future to have Amazon River cruising embark from Manaus in Brazil for sanctuary?
For sanctuary, at the moment, no. I think one of the things that drew us to this part of the Amazon in particular, and Michael, you will probably know more about this than I do, but this part of the river is a little narrower than a lot of the parts that are actually in Brazil. So it allows you to feel a lot more sort of up close and personal with the wildlife, with all of the flora. So we found that this was a more intimate way to experience the Amazon, or the Amazon River Basin, I should say. So that's why we sort of made this choice. So no plans at the moment, but you never know.
No, I totally agree. I've been in Manaus. Kelly and I both have several times. We didn't get to explore the jungle at all, but when you are there on that part of the Amazon River, you almost cannot see the other side. I don't think I would want to even be in a skiff, because that much water could have waves, or I don't even know. But and cruise ships, ocean cruise ships literally dock in Manaus. So I feel the same way. You're really getting further into the heart of the jungle by getting on the tributaries, where you can see more wildlife, more probably indigenous people, more solitude, and the real deal. And Manaus is a large city. I mean, you're just in a city at that point. Is the way I would answer that. I don't see this question on here, but I know it has been asked. Doug asked, will we be eaten alive by snakes?
Hasn't happened yet.
And so I would say too, it's just like these piranhas or the mosquitoes. I mean, sure, there are things out there, I mean, that are protecting their own environment, but snakes in particular, they want to leave you alone and you to leave them alone mostly. And so if you felt like, I would ask the guides, like, if we're going on a walking tour of the jungle today, we're more likely to encounter a snake. And you'll say, I'll stay on the skiff today, or I'll stay on the ship and get my massage and eat my peanut butter. Who knows? All right, let's see. Kelly, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I just want to really thank everybody for their time. I know that this is a new product and we're so excited that it is available, because it's definitely been on the list that keeps getting moved down, and now we actually have it scheduled. So that's really exciting for us, and we're really happy that y'all are bringing us this wonderful product.
Okay, so to give you the details, it's January 9th, 2026. So just over a year from now, that's when we will begin the trip. Because this is a charter, we really need to give Sanctuary and A&K an answer. Is this a go or a no-go? Do we have 22 people or don't we? By 1 month from today, let's say, by January 17th. And as an added bonus, talking with our partners, we're able to offer the viewers here $500 per person discount for booking in the month of December. So that puts you down under $13,000. It's a pretty reasonable range for this type of experience and level of inclusions. So please join us. We would love for you to join us. We are going to have an amazing adventure, and with the Outlander Society. And by the way, when you go one time and you are able to follow the rules, then you are an Outlander, and you will find out that there's some extra benefits to go with that. So with that being said, I want to thank all the attendees that were on live. I want to thank all of our viewers on the podcast and listeners, and especially our panelists today. Thank you, Carson, Laura, and Ashley, for taking your time today.
Thanks for having us, Michael.
Our pleasure.
Absolutely.
We
And
appreciate
Kelly,
it.
absolutely, we do too. And Kelly, thanks for being here. You look great, dear.
Where's my compliment? Hello.
You all look great. Everybody on the call looks great. But
You
if
have
I
to
didn't
live
say
with
that to
me.
my boss, then my evening would not be so great.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah, happy holidays, everybody. Have a
And
great
big
time.
cheers to a great 2025.
See
Happy
you
New
in
Year.
Peru.
Happy New Year. See you in Peru. All right, thanks, everybody.